So I want to I'll just introduce you as Robert Wygant, but I know, from knowing you a long time, you've got 20 plus years in the AC space, and we haven't seen each other a while. And then I ran into you at Autodesk University at the Enscape booth.
Hmm.
And I would say for 45 minutes, we didn't talk about technology. There was this other thing. And that's why I've asked you to come and share your story and experience at this roundtable, best practice roundtable event that's happening at the end of April, beginning of May.
Well, the first thing that people need to understand is how complex bagels actually are.
Are
It's the
bagels
most,
harder than Revit work sets?
yes, um, because at least Revit work sets are not dependent on the ambient temperatures of your room.
of your atmosphere? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, if they don't work because it's raining outside and the temperature, yeah, okay, I get it.
But to go full Heisenberg, I channeled um, what I was going through. And I was staring down the barrel of 50 years old, like Walter White turned 50 when he broke bad.
Right.
Um, and so I felt that. But more importantly, it's his scientific method that is
Mm,
used in everything the man did in that show, in Breaking Bad. Everything was calculated and without remainder. And they
right.
showed that so clearly. And I took that approach to bagels mainly because of a position that many people have, that bagels, like quality bagels like you find in New York City, cannot be made outside of New York City because you need New York water. And I'm here to tell
So
you
they
that it's
say.
complete bullshit. But the pH of the water that you boil in is
Okay, so what are
crucial.
the parameters? You mentioned room temperature.
Room temperature, ambient, so it's temperature, humidity, water pH, um, uh, temperature, refrigeration temperature, because you do need to slow the rise at certain points.
Right.
Water temperature of your mix water. Um, let's see, the protein percentage of the flour that you're using. Um, the
Yeah, you were very particular when you sent me the ingredient list because we're going
oh
to make
yeah,
bagels. The intent is we're going to make bagels at the roundtable event. And
oh,
it's
and I
like, I
need
love
I
this
need high
flour, but
protein
this
flour.
one, okay, all right.
Um, and the individual ingredients, are only a small fact, or only a small portion of what goes into making a bagel, because when the duration that the amount of time that you sit a bagel and just let it rest
Right.
is not a linear calculation. That's actually a curve based upon humidity and temperature ambient. How long it needs to be in the refrigerator is a factor of your outside temperature, how what the temperature swing is of your refrigerator. There's so
Are you
many
constantly measuring all this
parameters.
stuff every time you're making another batch of bagels? You're remeasuring these parameters.
Oh, I have a pH pen that I would dip into my kettle several times a day just to make sure I didn't need to add more, um, sodium hydroxide or baking soda. There's a thing called the Maillard reaction in food, and the Maillard reaction is what causes food to brown. The Maillard reaction is substantially sped up when you in an alkaline environment. So if you have a
Okay.
highly alkaline water that you're boiling in, that alkaline water creates alkaline steam in the oven thus making it brown quickly. So if you've ever seen a Bavarian pretzel that's very dark but still soft, the
Oh
only
yeah,
way
it's
you
got
can
that
get that
sheen on the
is
outside, that brown sheen.
right, and that's from ultra high pH water.
Okay.
So my pH level approaches 12 out of 14.
Okay.
So, with the average being what, 7.1,
7.5
um,
is neutral-ish, something
yeah,
like that.
7.1, 7.5, whatever it is neutral. I'm up at 12.
Okay.
And that is one of the most important aspects of getting a quality bagel is having a high pH water that you
And
boil in.
you're figuring this out at home, like in your kitchen, or did you have to have a different kind of space?
Oh, I had to rent a shop to get this level. See,
Okay,
I
okay,
had great I had great bagels at home,
okay.
but when you go to scale up doing 1 dozen to doing 40 dozen at once, yeah, because I would go from 1 dozen to 44 dozen in in one run. Like one run, a 50-pound sack of flour will give you 44 dozen bagels. No, is that right? 22 dozen bagels, excuse me.
But it sounds like you don't just do the same things at multiples for more.
Right,
There's
right, because
other
yeah,
things, other parameters.
how yeast reacts is not a linear calculation. The larger the run, the less yeast per unit you need. So I had to figure out that curve. Um, and this is what it means to go full Heisenberg on bagels. And this was during COVID that I put all
Right,
this
right, right,
together. So I had some pretty good numbers. Then we had food shortages,
right. Supply
price
shortages. Yeah. Prices
inflation.
skyrocket.
I mean, yeah, my flour going from, $16 a sack up to $30 a sack, your whole business model goes out the window because
Right,
that's
right,
your
right.
gasoline right there. Um, I mean, honestly, flour is my car, cream cheese is my gasoline because that's what gets people
And
to
you make
buy
your
them.
own.
Well, we would buy 30-pound blocks of cream cheese. Yeah,
Right,
a 30-pound block of cream cheese. We go through 6 of those a week. And
right.
but just taking a block of cream cheese, I would throw the whole thing in a 60-quart mixer with with chives, with
Different.
veggie
Yeah.
stuff, I had garlic and herb. I mean, some of the combinations that I came up with were dynamite. People were blown away. They're like, "Where do you come up with this stuff?" I mean, I made an Old Bay bagel, um,
Oh, right.
and
Like
it was
the
the
Southern
seasoning.
spice, the seasoning.
Yeah,
That's
um,
crazy.
it was
What's the most
so good.
obscure?
The
Any?
most obscure I ever did, chicken in a biscuit. Do you remember chicken in a biscuit crackers? I
Yeah,
made a bagel that tasted exactly like a chicken in a
like a chicken
biscuit
and a
cracker.
biscuit. So ultimately, and this is what really got to me. How successfully recognized was your bagel? What happened?
All of New Hampshire into Maine, down to Boston.
People were
Um,
driving from other states to come to your bagel
yep,
shop.
yep. We took number two in the state our first year out, and
Right.
our and subsequent, and we took number two behind the number one guy who, small world situation. I used to eat his bagels when I was a kid
That's great.
in New Jersey because he ran a bagel shop that was 3 towns away from me.
Right.
So he just had the sheer experience.
I would love for you to tell your story, and I'll give you a long form to do that at the retreat. We'll just have a chat. Part of the idea is, and I can get this, chat with Chef Charles about this, but even take the time to go into the kitchen and walk us through the process of making the bagels. And then we'll set them aside that evening and the next morning, prepare them
Yep,
and have them at breakfast.
you got it.
And let's have a long chat and go down the bagel hole of what you did, why you did it, and where you are now.
Oh, I'm
See
looking
you the
forward
first
to it.
week of April. Looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you very much.
You got it.
Wonderful, buddy. All right. Take care.
All right. Good talking to you.